Hey friends, this is Clover here. Thanks so much for coming back to my channel where we talk about most things related to finance. Today I kind of want to talk about something a little bit different because I feel like I need to give a life update. For those of you who don't know or don't follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you may not have heard that I'm actually on a road trip across the country with my dog Logan right now. I'm officially 1 month into this road trip that's probably going to be anywhere from 6 to 9 months long or potentially even longer. So I wanted to give you guys an update on why I'm doing this, where I'm going, where I've been so far, and my thoughts lately. So let's get to it, but before we do, be sure to hit like, hit subscribe, it helps my channel out a lot. And if you're into my videos, hit that notification bell as well so that you can get notified anytime I have some new content coming out. So first things first, why am I on a road trip across the United States? I mean, isn't the better question why not? But the main reason that I decided to start a road trip across the United States is because I quit my job in October 2021, and when I quit, I realized I didn't have to live in Chicago anymore. And for years, I had been wishing like, wow, why do I live here? Because the winters are so bad, and it's like 4 to 5 months out of the year where you can't go outside because it's either too cold or too hot. So when I quit my job in October 2021, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna move. But I had no idea where I wanted to move. Thus, this road trip was born. So essentially what I'm doing right now is I am traveling around the country, mostly the western half of the United States, to date cities and figure out where the heck I actually want to live. A lot of folks have asked me, well, how did you save up for this road trip? How are you affording this? And in truth, I didn't have to do any special kind of saving because I'm still working throughout this road trip. When I quit my job back in October 2021, I decided, you know what, I want to have a year emergency fund on hand. So with that emergency fund and with my ability to earn money pretty much no matter where I'm at in the world, saving up for it as a separate savings goal really wasn't that big of a requirement for me. Now I want to recognize that is a massive privilege. I understand that most people do not get the opportunity to do this because of money, because of things that are tying them to where they live right now, but because I'm single, because I have no kids, because I don't have a job that requires me to stay in one location, I felt like I would be crazy not to take advantage of the circumstances that I have found myself in. And so far, it's been amazing. So the places that are on my list for this road trip is I started in my hometown of Peoria, Illinois, and then I went to Omaha for 2 nights. After Omaha, I spent about 10 days in Denver, and then after Denver, I headed to Santa Fe and Albuquerque. Those were both really short stays because they're pretty small places. I really loved my experience in Santa Fe. It's a beautiful place, and I was really pleasantly surprised. I could definitely see myself retiring there someday. After Santa Fe and Albuquerque, I then went down to Tucson, and I have been in Tucson since May 1st. I plan on staying in Tucson until June, and then once June hits, I'll be heading up to Phoenix. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, like, holy cow, Phoenix in June is going to be so hot, but the thing is, I gotta get some of the good with the bad. The weather here in Tucson has been pretty amazing and pretty ideal, so in order for me to get a full view of what it's like to live in Arizona, I feel like it's important for me to spend some time in the hottest months as well. So after Phoenix, I have a plan to spend a little bit of time in Page, Arizona and Lake Powell so that I can just do some sightseeing. I've been wanting to go to the Antelope Canyon forever, so I'm really excited to do that as well as see Lake Powell. Then after probably a long weekend in Page, Arizona, I'll head on down to San Diego where I'll get to see some of my closest friends. And my plan right now is to spend a month in San Diego as well. Now, after San Diego, I plan to head up to LA. Now, I have been to LA several times and I don't particularly love LA, but I have a bunch of friends there who I do want to see and I do want to reconnect with. So I plan to stay in LA probably 2 weeks, maybe another 10-day trip, but I'll stay there long enough to see the people that I want to see, and then I'll probably head off on my road trip up Highway 1. But the whole point is I just really want to take my time to be able to enjoy these places on an experience that I'm not sure if I'm ever going to get it again. So after making my way through Highway 1, I plan to also spend some time in Big Sur. Big Sur is one of my favorite places in the whole entire world. I spent some time there back in 2016 and it's just this magical place. So I'll definitely spend a few days there, and then after Big Sur, I'll spend some time up in the Bay Area as well. After that, my official road trip is pretty much finished, but at the same time, I'll be making some stops along the way back to my hometown for the holidays. Now, where I'm gonna stop, I'm not entirely sure. I definitely want to stop in Idaho to see some friends there and maybe do a little bit of camping depending on how the weather is, and I would love to see parts of Wyoming, so I'm kind of like up in the air in terms of what my plans are for the way back, but the official road trip I feel like ends in its current iteration once I get to Seattle. Now, these are all places that I'm actually considering moving to. There are some places that I'm like, I just want to see some friends, like LA and San Francisco. I know I'm not going to move to either of those places, but in terms of everywhere else, it's kind of up for grabs in terms of like, maybe I could see myself living here. And that's the main purpose of this road trip, is to figure that out. I want to take my time. I want to have that luxury of deciding where I want to live because it's where I really want to live. The things that are important to me in terms of where I do live next are low cost of living, beautiful nature, and access to nature, like easy access for hikes and things like that, and also a real estate market that isn't completely insane. The real estate part isn't that big of a deal, but I want to be able to easily afford where I live and not worry about having to pay rent or having to pay my mortgage every month. So that kind of pushes out California and Colorado, but at the same time, I'm gonna keep an open mind on this. This is my first year of entrepreneurship, so in the back of my mind, I'm always concerned about costs, but at the same time, if I can continue to do as well as I have been doing, costs may not be much of an issue. So if you've made it this far and you've heard all the places on my list, leave down in the comments where you think I should go, or what recommendations you have, or where you would live if you could live anywhere. Now, you may have noticed that most of my road trip is happening in the US western half of the country. The reason for this is because that's really where I see myself ending up. When it comes to the lifestyle that I want and the access to nature and just the general vibe, the West is really where I see myself settling. I don't really see myself doing well in the South because of the humidity and the heat and the politics, and for some reason the East Coast just doesn't really appeal to me either. There are definitely some beautiful places both in the South and on the East Coast, but I'm really looking for a place that doesn't have any snow and I don't have to deal with as much insane humidity either. Plus, the thing is, what's so nice about this and what the stage I'm at in my life is that whatever I choose doesn't have to be permanent. Maybe I'll live in Tucson for a couple of years and then maybe I'll live in California for a couple of years. I'm just trying to keep an open mind, to be totally honest. But that's really it. That's all I really got for you guys. I just kind of wanted to give you an update on what I've been doing and like where my life is going and what I've been doing as a digital nomad. If there's something that you'd like me to cover or talk about in our future videos, please let me know down in the comments below. But you know the drill. If you've made it this far and you haven't hit liked and you haven't hit subscribe, be sure to do that. It helps me out a lot. And if you want to follow along on my day-to-day travels and things like that, be sure to follow me on my social media accounts here. But as always, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys next week.
Oh, my squishy face goddess. My squishy face goddess. Oops.